Today's episode may have some content that is disturbing for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome back to another episode of Bloodstained Backstories. I'm your host, Jace.
And I'm your host, Summer. Jace, today we have a very sad case. We have not covered a case like this yet. I saw a documentary on the television, and it sparked my interest. Now with the summer months approaching, I thought it would be a good time to cover this case. Today's case is about a father who was supposed to drop his son off at preschool and forgot. His son was left in the car for over 7 hours, and unfortunately the little boy died due to the high heat in the vehicle. At the father's trial, a lot of other things were brought up. Was his trial fair? Did he leave his son in the car intentionally? This case raised a lot of questions. How, as a parent, can you forget a child in a car? An average of about 38 children die each year from being left in a car. Is there something car manufacturers can do to the vehicles to prevent this from happening? Let us get into this case and we can discuss that stuff later.
Cooper Harris was 22 months old when he was left in a vehicle and died due to extreme heat on June 18, 2014. His parents were Justin Ross Harris and Leanna Harris. Justin had left Cooper strapped in his rear-facing car seat for about 7 hours. Justin was arrested and charged with Cooper's death, which he referred to as a tragic accident. Justin had a jury trial that received all kinds of national attention, and he was found guilty of malice murder, felony murder, and other charges. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus 32 years. In June of 2002, Justin's convictions were overturned by the Georgia Supreme Court because they concluded that he did not have a fair trial. Other charges still remain, but he would not be retried on the murder and cruelty charges pertaining to his son.
Justin was born in 1980. He briefly worked as a police dispatcher until 2009 in Tuscaloosa. He received a bachelor's degree in commerce and business administration in 2012 from the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Justin moved to Georgia and worked for Home Depot as a web developer. He married Leanna, Cooper's mother, in 2006, and they divorced in 2016. On that final morning of Cooper's life, he woke up at about 5:15 a.m., and Justin brought him back to bed with him and his wife, where he cuddled and fell back to sleep. Now it was noted that Justin had already sent or exchanged online text messages, some of them sexual, with at least 4 women, one of them being only 17.
Father and son went out for breakfast at Chick-fil-A where Cooper ate a sausage biscuit. Justin was supposed to take Cooper to daycare, but guess he forgot and he drove to work. He walked into work carrying a Chick-fil-A cup and his work bag. You might think that carrying a cup would have reminded him, but obviously it did not. Justin entered his office at 9:25 a.m. and he left Cooper strapped in the rear car seat for 7 hours. How did nobody approaching that office building see someone trapped in a car seat, and did Cooper scream or cry? How did nobody hear anything for that time to go into the building and get help?
You would think he would have cried.
The year that Cooper died as a result of being left in the hot vehicle, there were 31 other similar deaths. Murder charges for leaving a child in the car are fairly rare, and convictions are less likely.
Around 12:30 p.m., 2 friends of Justin's picked him up from work to have lunch at Publix. After lunch, they went to nearby Home Depot, and Justin picked up some light bulbs. After his arrest, investigators went to his home to see if indeed he was in need of the light bulbs, and yes, there were some burned out bulbs. His friends dropped him back off at the parking lot of his work, and Justin walked to his car, opened the door, and kind of tossed the light bulbs into the car. He did not bend down or look into the car, so still did not see the car seat with Cooper in it. At around 4:16, which was about 7 hours after leaving Cooper in the car, Justin returned to his car and got in. He was planning on going to an AMC movie theater to see 21 Jump Street with friends. Justin pulled into the parking lot. Witnesses reported hearing squealing tires and then a man screaming, "What have I done?" Justin tried to perform CPR on Cooper before a bystander took over. Other bystanders called 911. The police and firefighters were nearby patrolling, so they were able to respond to the scene within seconds of the calls. Justin was detained and questioned. He told the police that he forgot Cooper was in his car seat.
That day, the temperature reached 92 degrees Fahrenheit, which would make the temperature in the vehicle about 133 degrees. It is estimated that Cooper most likely died at noon, which was about 2.5 hours after being left in the car. Investigation into Cooper's death sadly focused on extramarital sexual affairs. Justin, on the day of Cooper's death, was sending and receiving sexually explicit texts with some nude pictures, and there were at least 6 different persons, including one under the age of consent. Justin was charged by prosecutors with malicious murder, felony murder, cruelty to children, sexual exploitations of children, and dissemination of harmful materials to minors. The jury listened to the evidence presented for about a month and deliberated for 4 days before convicting Justin on all the accounts.
The trial was initially going to be held in Cobb County, Georgia, but the judge, after nearly 3 weeks of jury selection, granted a change of venue and the trial was moved to Brunswick in Glynn County. All the media attention had impacted the Cobb County prospective jurors. Prosecutors said that Justin had left Cooper in the car on purpose to pursue extramarital sexual relationships. The defense said Justin had forgot Cooper in the car because his daily routine had been altered in several ways. The prosecutors had called 51 witnesses, while the defense called 18.
There were several prosecution witnesses who testified about Justin's behavior at the scene. A police officer testified that he did not see Justin cry, and he also stated that he felt like Justin was faking grief and was cursed at by Justin.
Wait a minute. Maybe he was in a state of shock. Not everybody is quick to cry. He probably was confused, you know, thinking he was dreaming this. What the hell happened? You know, I think if I was in that situation, I would be trying to replay the whole day, see where I messed up, see where I made my mistake. I'm a crier, but who knows in a situation like that, I would cry.
The officer was asked on cross-examination why he said Justin was acting hysterically and extremely upset in his initial report. The officer states that he used the words acting to indicate that Justin was not being genuine. A witness testified that he took over doing CPR because Justin was fumbling around and improperly performing CPR.
Did Justin ever take CPR classes? I mean, Jace, that I've taken CPR classes a few times, and I don't know if I would be able to perform it correctly.
Just think about staying alive as you do it and play that song in your head. That's all you get to know to do CPR. The witnesses also stated that he knew Cooper was dead, comparing his attempts at breast support to blowing into busted bags.
Maybe Justin knew the same thing, and that's why he was fumbling around.
Another officer who arrived at the scene said that he thought it was weird that Justin was not near his son when he arrived.
Detective Phil Stoddard's testimony became disputed when inconsistencies were discovered. The detective testified along with video evidence that Justin failed to report the purchase of the light bulbs and putting the light bulbs into his vehicle. That just seems like such a moot point. That's crazy. The detective stated that Justin must have seen Cooper when he put the light bulbs into his vehicle because he put his whole head in the vehicle. Security tapes that were played for the jury showed that Justin never put his head in the vehicle, and his eye line remained above the car roof. When being cross-examined, the detective withdrew some of the statements he made at a pretrial hearing. At the pretrial hearing, the detective said that Ross had done internet searches for child-free lifestyles, visited a child-free website, and searched for a video on the danger of leaving animals in cars. Now the detective was stating that Justin had not searched for the animal video, that he had seen it on Reddit's homepage. He also agreed that a friend of Justin's had sent him the link to the child-free website as a joke. Another detective testified that he had not found any internet searches on those subjects when he examined the cell phones and computers owned by Justin and his wife.
5 women, including the minor, testified that Justin's interactions with them The prosecution presented a text that Ross had sent several minutes before leaving Cooper in the car and said, "I love my son and all, but we both need escapes." The state's evidence also included 9 enlarged pictures of Justin's penis.
Like, all right, this is like annoying me. Okay, the guy is scum for having an affair on his wife, but that doesn't mean he wanted to kill his son. And why the hell are you showing pictures of his penis at a trial to determine whether he killed his son on purpose or not? I mean, that makes absolutely no sense. And, and if he was, he might have been distracted by text messages, but this still does not leave a reason to show those pictures.
For the defense, Lana Cooper's mother, who was divorced from Justin by now, testified that Justin would have never intentionally killed their son. The prosecution, on cross-examination, said that after Cooper's death, Leanna was concerned with her future with Ross. Leanna stated, "Justin destroyed my life. I'm humiliated, and I'll never trust anybody again. If I never see him again after this, that's fine." A travel agent testified for Justin said that Justin had contacted her the day before Cooper's death to inquire about a family vacation. The defense called several character witnesses who testified that Justin was a loving father, but prosecution pressed the witnesses about not knowing that Justin was having extramarital affairs.
Just because the man was having affairs, which it has never been stated if he actually met these women or were they just online text messaging affairs. But it doesn't mean that he didn't love his son.
A psychological professor and memory and attention expert testified for the defense that Justin could have a memory lapse and left Cooper accidentally in the car. He also stated that there was nothing unique about this case when compared to others like it. He also added that on cross-examination he was not aware of other cases where a parent had texted, "I need an escape, I love my son and we all need an escape," 10 minutes prior to leaving a child in the car.
That one sentence might be taken out of context compared to the whole conversation. What was said before that sentence? What was said after that sentence? What was the conversation about? They don't, they just focus on that one sentence. They don't focus on the whole entire conversation. Justin was found guilty of all charges on November 14th, 2016. He received a sentence of life imprisonment without parole plus 32 years. In January 2017, Justin's legal team filed a motion for a new trial. They argued that revelations about Justin's numerous affairs and his self-admitted sex addiction made it impossible for Justin to have received a fair trial. The judge denied the motion on May 20th, 2021. On January 18th, 2022, the Supreme Court of Georgia heard arguments for a new trial. It was argued that the extensive evidence about Justin's affairs, that all the evidence presented could have led the jury to question what kind of man is Justin. On June 22nd, 2022, the court agreed that the cases should have been tried separately. On May 25th, 2023, the murder and cruelty charges against Justin were dismissed. It was decided that the court would not retry Justin. In June 2024, Justin Ross Harris was released from prison.
Justin's ex-wife Leanna always believed her ex-husband did not intentionally leave their son in the car and that it was an accident. She can finally have closure now and can focus on keeping his memory alive and in peace, which she hasn't been able to do for nearly 10 years. Starting in 2025, car manufacturers are required to include rear seat occupant alert systems in all new cars. It is designed to remind drivers to check the back seat before exiting the vehicle. That is amazing. Hopefully, it will prevent the deaths of other children from being left in the hot car. Thanks for tuning in to Bloodstained Backstories. Don't forget to follow us on social media to stay updated, share your thoughts, connect with fellow true crime enthusiasts. You can also catch us anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your go-to platform is. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Join us next week as we uncover another chilling case. Until then, stay safe and stay curious.